I found this app which uses AI to try to guess your accent or your linguistic background.
The strong draft stirred in the dim hall, and the window sat bare. I found myself feeling more at ease.
So, as an accent coach and a native speaker of English, I just had to try it out. Let's go check out this app.
Did the thin lady purchase those yellow running shoes, or did she just pretend to look busy? She lingered long enough to check the price tag twice, but left the shelf untouched. Seems to need a bit more from me. Somewhere in the office, a mystery smell lurked like it had a plan. Each time the door opened, it crept out, subtle but deadly, leaving everyone silently blaming someone else. Danish? That's weird. Okay, Danish, second one's Chinese, and I don't sound like a native speaker of English at all. That is very, very strange. I'm gonna try that one more time, okay? I don't even know what Danish sounds like. Whenever I travel to a new city, I like to explore local bookstores. There's something magical about discovering hidden gems among the shelves and finding a book that feels like it was just waiting just for me. Says it needs a bit more. I've been trying to spend less time on my phone and more time enjoying the world around me. It's amazing how much more present I can feel when I focus on my surroundings instead of a screen. English speaker, okay, cool. 54%, and then Chinese speaker, 34%, and Korean. No Danish in sight. So yeah, no, it's pretty accurate. I am a native speaker of English, but I did grow up in Hong Kong. My dad's from the US though, so I did grow up speaking English. The way I sound now that I'm talking to you, that accent is not how I spoke when I was younger. There are videos of me with a slightly more Cantonese accent, and when I go back to Hong Kong and I talk with my friends, the Cantonese does actually come out.
So after that, I tried it out a couple more times and the results shifted quite a bit. The vast majority of the times it said I was a native speaker of English as the highest guess. One time it actually said that I was definitely a Chinese, maybe 50%, and then English at like 30%. I think it was when I was the most nervous, but then when I wasn't paying attention, I just read it without actually caring at all. I got the highest score at 69%, with Chinese being the third guess. But also interestingly, I got Nigerian. That was kind of weird. So my accent shifts around a lot, which is not surprising to me because I do code switch and I grew up in a multilingual environment. When I talk with my friends, as I said before, I will sound a little bit more Cantonese like how I did when I was a kid, but when I teach, it becomes more American.
So I'm going to try other accents right now and see how it does. The strong draft stirred in the dim hall, rustling thick drapes at the head tall, arched windows. Light streaked through the narrow cracks, leaving sharp beams on the worn stone floor. Each step clicked, echoing far into the hush. I don't think I did that well, but let's see what it guesses. Oh, there. Cool. Okay. 99%. Okay, so apparently I hit all the features that are indicative of a Russian accent. Yeah, okay. Let's try the next one. It might be hard to switch accents. It's usually hard for me to switch accents. When the curtain rod fell, it didn't just fall. It threw itself down with flair. The rings clattered with applause, and the window sat bare, judging you for skipping the shrews. Oh, I'm not doing so well in like imitating accent. Oh shit! I did it! I did it! Yes! 99% Polish. 99% Polish. I don't think I did that well though, actually. So for some of you that don't know me, I often live in Poland, and Polish speakers are one of my biggest groups of students that I teach. They're my fourth biggest group. And that's because ja mówię po polsku I myślę, że ten język jest bardzo ciekawy, bardzo mi się podoba. I like Polish. I listen to a lot of Polish accents, especially since a lot of my friends there do have Polish accents, and my students as well. But that was fun. Okay, cool. So it worked. Anyway, so that's those are some accents. Maybe let's try one more. Okay, I got one more. One last one. I recently tried to meditating for the first time. It was challenging to stay focused at first, but eventually I found myself feeling more at ease. It's something. Oh, it's guessing already. I haven't even finished, so let's see how I do. I think I hit the most important bits. Let's see if you guess it before it guesses. Oh, Okay, no, I wasn't actually doing Japanese. I was actually doing Korean. But they do have some similarities, and maybe I'm just not doing it that well. The similarities include things like intonation. So a lot of times, Japanese speakers and Korean speakers, they have an interesting pitch accent. For example, an English speaker would say Japanese people, and the Japanese person would say Japanese people. I think I slipped up a few times. I was trying not to say the F sounds in Korean because they don't have Fs. They say P, but I said F a few times, so maybe that confused it.
I also got my friends to take this test. My Chinese American friends who grew up in the US and may have been there for multiple generations, they always scored the highest on English. But they got a few interesting other guesses as well. Notably, one got of Spanish, which is also true of my Canadian friend who is white, and he still got a little bit of Spanish. But still, the app was very certain that they were native speakers of English. And this is important to know because the percentage that the app gives you is not how much of an accent you have, the degree to which you have that accent. It's the degree of its certainty that you have that background. Which is why, for example, I have a friend who's Chinese American and he moved to the US when he was 10 and then started learning English, and his English is really good. Most people, they never bat an eye when he says he's from the US. But he does have a Chinese accent a bit. I can hear it in there in certain features. But he sounds like a lot of the Chinese Americans who grew up in the US, but grew up in Chinese-speaking communities. He got around 84% as Chinese. And then my friend's girlfriend, who is a recent immigrant from China, got 100% Chinese as the first guess. But that doesn't mean that both of them sound similar, because they sound worlds apart. My friend who immigrated when he was 10 sounds really native. The girlfriend has a very clear, distinct Chinese accent. It's just how certain the app is that you have that background. So what this means for you is that if you use this app to guess your accent and you see, oh, 100% Polish or 100% Russian or 100% Chinese, don't be discouraged, because that doesn't mean that your accent is just completely full of accent features from that background. It just means that that app may hear something that you're saying and then be like, oh, you're definitely of that background, because only speakers of your native tongue do that in English. So even if 90% of your accent features, your sounds, your intonation, the other prosodic elements is like a native speaker, if you have 10% that is non-native and only speakers of Russian do that, or like speakers of Polish do that, it will still be very certain that you are from that background. So don't be discouraged if you take the test and it says there's a 100% chance that you're of this background. I hope you enjoyed that video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me if you heard something in my English that gives it away that I'm a native speaker of a different type of English than yours. And tell me how I did with my accents and if you've tried out this app and what your experience was. Until next time, let's make your accent amazing.